Alright, and we are back for part 9 of Kathy Reign 2, resuming right now. And with our meeting set up for the park, I think that's going to be where we head next.
This city. I loathe it. But where else would I be? I guess sometimes we all prefer a comfortable, familiar hate rather than facing the unknown. Hey there. Are you JK?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have anybody to call just yet.
No. I can smell that thing from here. Pollution galore. Go for a swim, and you're liable to grow another limb.
Is it not 2 p.m. yet? I thought that this is where we were coming, but let me double check.
The meeting with JK is set up. Now I just need to go and talk to them.
Interesting. So...
You have reached a numeric pager system. Please enter up to 12 digits and end your message with the pound key.
Let's cut the charade. I heard that thing beep in your pocket. You're JK.
That's so. Who am I talking to?
I'm Kathy. Lucas couldn't be here. He sent me on his behalf.
No, he didn't. We both know he's dead.
All right. I guess you caught me. Why'd you even come if you knew I wasn't him?
Wouldn't you? Part of me wanted to believe the poor bastard faked his own death.
I wish. I was there when he died. A suspect, killed him, and I nearly caught her.
She? It wasn't Andrea Hall, was it?
No, at least, I don't think so. This woman used the name Faith Cyrene. Who is Andrea Hall?
A senior at KCU. Lucas asked me to trace a motorcycle for him and...
And what?
No. Damn it. I've already said too much. We shouldn't be discussing this.
Look, the damage is done. You already gave me a name. If I wanted to rat you out to the chief or whatever, I could.
Oh, honey. I'm not trying to protect myself. I'm looking out for you.
Me? You don't even know me. Why do you care?
Because Lucas did. He stood up for me when no one else would. I owe that man a great deal.
If anything, he'd want me to solve the case and destroy that harpy for what she did to him.
No, I don't think so. He loved you like a daughter. You know that, right?
Fuck off. Don't tell me that. Don't you think I feel bad enough already?
That's what grief is supposed to feel like, hon. You're in a bad way, and I won't help you get yourself killed. Now go on. Get out of here.
This lady can go to hell. She doesn't know Lucas. She doesn't know shit. At least I got a lead out of this. Andrea Hall, whoever she is. Guess it's time to head over to the university.
Come in. Yeah.
Hey there. I'm looking for Andrea.
Is this your idea of a joke?
No? Why do you say that?
You don't recognize me, do you?
Oh, wait. You came to my office a couple weeks ago, didn't you?
Uh-huh. I needed your help with my missing roommate. You can probably guess her name.
Oh. Small world, eh?
Better late than never. I still can't pay your greedy PI fees, though, so you might as well fuck off again.
Sorry about that, but I'm running a business. Another case led me here. I'm not looking to get paid. I just need a few moments of your time, if that's okay.
Figures. Well, fine. Come in then.
Thanks. What's your name again?
Rebecca Dawson.
All right. I'm Kathy, but I guess you know that.
I do. Let's talk.
Well, let's start on a topic that is important to her.
Can you tell me about Andrea's disappearance?
Sure. Basically, she took off on her motorcycle one night and never came back. Didn't say where she was going or why.
She was a biker, huh? What kind of motorcycle are we talking about?
Well, it was black, pretty big, looked kind of sporty. I think she said it was imported from Japan.
Got it, yeah. I happened to see one just like it a few days ago. Please, continue.
Yeah, so, at first, I wasn't worried about Andrea. Suddenly leaving for a day or two wasn't unusual for her. After a week, though, I felt that I had to file a missing persons report. Total waste of time, that was.
I can relate. Cassidy cops aren't a reliable bunch. And then you reached out to me?
Yes, tried every PI in town. Maybe I was naive to think I could afford any of them, but I felt I had to do something. That plan obviously didn't pan out either. Weeks passed, and after a certain point, I had to let things go. There was only so much I could do.
How long has Andrea been missing?
About a month, I think.
Wait, so she disappeared around the end of April?
Sounds about right. Why?
That's when they found Jane Doe, one of the soothsayer victims.
Oh, yeah, I read about that, but the age is wrong. Andrea's 22 and the paper said 18.
Rebecca, there's a margin of error. The later paper said early 20s.
Oh no. How could I be so blind? It's her. It's gotta be her.
We don't know that for sure, but yeah, things don't look great. Andrea is not a local, is she?
Far from it. She came from Australia.
That would explain the lack of dental records, too.
Fuck. We need to tell the cops all of this, don't we?
We do, but let me handle that, okay? I have more evidence to share with them.
Okay. God damn it, Andrea.
Also, Andrea Hall fits it's a little bit loose, but the description of my name is a room. That's what Kathy received in her dream.
What happened when you filed that police report?
Well, they didn't take me seriously at all. I told them the truth about Andrea, and they immediately dismissed her as voluntarily missing, like she was some stupid teen runaway. They never even bothered to come and look at her stuff.
So Andrea has had a tendency to disappear from time to time?
Yeah. She's been known to hang out in some sketchy circles. People who like to party hard, if you know what I mean.
Ah, drugs were involved?
Yes, all kinds.
Who were those sketchy people then? Got any names?
No, I didn't want anything to do with that crowd.
What was Andrea like?
She was brilliant. A born engineer, obsessed with technology, computers, and tinkering with all of her little gadgets. But she wasn't weird or awkward like so many smart people are, you know? She understood people. She could explain the most complicated things so anyone could understand.
Sounds like a woman with a bright future ahead of her. I have a feeling it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, though.
No, she had a self-destructive side, too. I think she saw herself as a thing to push to the limit, just like her machines.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Well, she didn't care much for her health. It felt almost like she found it insulting to be limited by a human body, with all of its inconveniences. Experimenting with drugs was a part of that, I think.
I see. So, Andrea had a drug problem, did she?
She used drugs, yes. She wouldn't call it a problem, though. She'd say she was in full control and that narcotics were tools like any other, or instruments to improve performance and expand the mind.
And do you agree with that?
For a superwoman like Andrea, maybe. She seemed to have a handle on it. But I mean, she had a whole circle of junkie friends, and I have no idea what messed up things they were doing off campus.
And you don't know anything about these junkie friends of hers?
No. I tried to keep a healthy distance from those people.
If you know so little about them, how do you know they were even junkies?
Trust me. I grew up in Cassidy. I've seen meth heads on the street since kindergarten.
Yeah, point taken.
So, based on all this, I want to ask about Pyre.
Have you ever heard of a drug called Pyre?
No, I'm not a drug user.
Do you recognize the name Corey Finnegan? He also goes by the moniker FaZe.
Afraid not. I don't know that guy.
Alright, he was also on Pyre, or at least had it once.
Do you know a Faith Cyrene? She's supposed to have some form of facial scars.
Nope. I'd remember a person like that.
This might be a random question, but Andrea didn't have any facial scars, did she?
No, not any obvious ones at least. Why?
Oh, nothing. Just a wild idea.
I was briefly thinking the same thing, but based on what we've heard about Faith, either that's a very recent injury, but they were very, very evident facial scars. Like, half her face looked melted. They describe her basically like Two-Face.
What do you know about the soothsayer?
Just what's been reported in the media. I truly hope Andrea isn't that poor girl.
What do you know about Deborah Sinclair?
No more than what's in the papers. That goes for the other victims, too.
I know this is difficult, but we need to talk about the possibility of Jane Doe being Andrea.
Such a horrible way to go. I wish I had anything useful to say about it.
So nothing you know about the murder connects in any way to Andrea or her habits?
I don't think so. Sure, she went to Constance Hill from time to time, but so does every other college kid, right?
I guess so, yeah. So you're not aware of anyone in particular that she'd hang out with there?
No one comes to mind. Sorry.
What do you know about scrying mirrors?
Hardly anything, beyond the obvious connection to the soothsayer.
Okay, so like Andrea wasn't going on and on about them.
Do you know who Tabitha Caldwell is?
No, I don't know her.
Does the name Rachel Wang mean anything to you?
No, that's no one I know.
I'm trying to find a park ranger named Victor Cooper. Do you know him?
No, I'm not much for the outdoors.
I don't want to ask her about that.
Yeah, there's no information about this to even ask about.
Are you familiar with the King of Kings Catholic Church?
Never heard of it.
Do you know the Azure Sky Motel?
No, I don't know that place.
That's all of our questions. We could, if we show her this, I think we just wind up asking, do you know anything about scrying mirrors?
I don't want to show that to her. Have you ever seen the guy from this brochure before?
Nope, I would have remembered him.
Alright, so no evidence that she's ever seen Vic.
I don't want to show that to her.
She doesn't care about my scissors, ammo, pills, or the transcript that I can think of.
Love the vest.
Oh, thanks. Made it myself from Mom's old leather jacket.
Oh, that's neat. I don't want to ask her about that. Pretty good horror flick over there. Scared my friend shitless with it.
Oh, sure. I prefer the 1973 original, though.
Don't tell me you're one of those people.
You don't know the half of it. My dad's a film director. In our family, it's mandatory to be a connoisseur.
That movie just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, my dad got me the
Sorry.
poster. He's in the business.
Hit the keyboard by mistake.
I don't want to ask her about that. So, what kind of music do you play on that thing?
Darkwave and industrial mostly. Midnight Veil, My Path, and Nightfall are some of my favorites.
Not quite my wheelhouse. I'm more of a metal gal.
Yeah, I could tell.
I don't want to ask her about that. Heading home to your folks for the summer?
Yep. God forbid I won't let Mom fatten me up for next semester.
That bad, huh? Finals coming up soon, right?
Ugh, yes. Hard to catch up. I didn't get much schoolwork done when Andrea went missing.
I see that KCU still provides god-awful closet space.
Tell me about it. Andrea and I had our share of squabbles about that.
I don't want to ask her about that. I don't want to ask her about that.
We probably have some questions about Rebecca's side of the room, though, yeah?
I don't want to ask her about that. I don't want to. Andrea's got a lot of electronics, it looks like.
You've got that right. Every other day she'd bring some new little gadget. I have no idea how a student like her could afford all of that stuff.
By the way, this looks a lot like Edward Scissorhands, based on the poster design.
Andrea's got a pretty chunky stereo over there.
Yeah, thankfully she'd use her headphones most of the time.
Ah, you guys didn't share a taste in music?
We sure didn't. Polar opposites, more like.
I should go examine the computer before I start asking about it. I don't want to ask.
I think that's everything in the room that we could potentially ask about.
That's all for now, thanks. Mind if I have a look at some of Andrea's things?
Go ahead. I'll take care of some homework.
Handy for some tunes outside, I'd imagine. Half-decent zombie movie. I forced E to watch it. Good times. Some indie art house movie. That's pretty new, I think.
Okay, Edward Scissorhands wasn't an indie art house movie, really.
For a goth, it's always Halloween. That's quite badass, I have to say. I could see myself wearing that. University textbooks. These look to be mostly related to the humanities. Various items for studies, such as empty notebooks and binders. Looks like Rebecca is getting ready for the summer break. So tidy. Reminds me of Eileen, despite Rebecca being the polar opposite of her in nearly every other respect. Clothes and motorcycle accessories. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Makes me think of the Black Hats, the outlaw bikers I met a few years ago. What a mess. There are lots of entangled cables of different types and sizes. If I knew what I was looking for, I might be able to dig up something useful from here.
Hey, cables might be very handy for fishing that gun. So I want to just note about the gun that's in the storm drain. I'm not sure if it's been dropped in there or if it's like wedged in there. Kathy made reference to getting a tool, so maybe I was thinking like we fish it out like it's just we can see it down there, but in later comments she made it sound more like it's wedged between things.
University textbooks. Technical for the most part. Andrea's CD collection. There are a lot of records by Sunbeat, Route 6, and Perplex. Reggae music, based on the covers and song titles. Just your average schedule. Nothing but classes and school events noted here. Remind Mom to clean Dreddy's terrarium. Maybe Andrea has some kind of pet reptile back with her folks? Looks like some Rastafari thing. I suppose Andrea was into that stuff. Various gadgets, gizmos, and doohickeys. Yes, I've been known to take science classes. Damn, impressive setup. Andrea must be a hi-fi aficionado. Zodkill, a classic. I could go for a monster movie and some popcorn right about now. Might help me forget about the monsters in the real world. Looks like Andrea was taking something apart here. A hard drive, I think. I hear magnets like these are quite strong for their size. Might come in handy. Got it.
That is going to come in handy to get that gun. Now, again, if we just tied a cable to it, I think that would be everything that we would need. I'm just going to try this once.
What a mess. If I knew what I was looking for,
Okay. She's not interested in doing that yet.
There's a spool of metal wire here. I could probably find a good use for that.
Okay, not actually convinced that that's better than the cable, but yes. Can we combine these right now?
All right, that should hold nicely.
Good. All right, I think we can get the gun now.
This looks like some serious encryption. I better head back to the office and see what I can learn about that.
Sec vault. I'm just making a quick note of sec vault. So yeah, let's definitely not punch around with it. Oops. I pressed spacebar to see if there's anything else accessible here. We have gotten a lot done here. However, because we couldn't talk about the computer before, I just want to check in with Rebecca about computer.
Hey, Rebecca?
Yes?
Do you know anything about hard drive encryption?
No way. That stuff goes way over my head.
Any idea of how to access Andrea's computer?
Nope. And good luck with that. I know she put in some hardcore security measures.
The only other things that we looked at that might come up, we could talk about cables, we could talk about disassembly.
I don't want to ask her about that.
All right, I do believe then that we're ready to go get the gun.
Okay, that's all I've got for the time being.
All right. I'll be here if you have more things to ask.
That would be, yes, crash site. I don't think it's very likely that the cops are going to find this just on their own, but I still feel like retrieving it is a priority.
Yes, got it. I've reloaded it too. I'm ready for action now.
All right, stun gun and regular gun. And we still do have the magnet. So let's try to remember that if we need to magnetize something again. Aside from that, that's what we came for. And we've already tried to talk to Man, and his trolley doesn't do us anything, so I think we just leave. Now, Kathy said that she wanted to go back to the office to research the hard drive, so I think that that's our next stop.
Hey, hey!
Hey, E. Can I talk to you for a sec?
Sure, what's up?
Do you know anything about hard drive encryption?
A little, I suppose. What are the specifics?
Basically, the whole computer is encrypted and it prompts a password when I boot it up. Is there any way to bypass that?
Oh, that's tough. maybe the computer book I bought for the office last year could be useful?
Oh, right. Remind me, where did we put that?
It's on the shelf behind you, Kathy.
So, I found out that Lucas's investigation led to a college student called Andrea Hall.
Interesting. What's her link to the case?
Well, apparently Lucas was tracing a motorcycle tied to Andrea. Here's the kicker, though. The description of the bike sounded identical to the one that Faith Cyrene escaped on.
Huh. That's a clear connection between this student and Faith, then. Keep me posted.
All right, that's all.
Okie dokie.
Just in the interest of not making assumptions, it's an implied connection. There can be two motorcycles like that. However, that combined with the fact that she went missing at the same time, combined with the fact that she frequented Constance Hill, there's a lot of things that point, that point that there could be a link between those two people. Then again, we don't strictly know that Faith Cyrene has been lighting people on fire. We just have a very, very strong indication that she killed Lucas.
Ah, here's the book Eileen mentioned. Excellent. There are a few pages about the type of encryption I saw at KCU.
Can we look at those, or do we just go back there? Cybersecurity, the Definitive Guide, includes software CD. The most secure type of hard drive encryption is when the boot process itself is encrypted, denying access to the entire operating system without the correct password. However, a notable weakness of this model is a physical fly-wire connection to a secondary computer with DMA, direct memory access, enabled in the target BIOS settings. In that scenario, any common memory utility can be used to eavesdrop on the memory contents of the boot encryption when the decryption process is in progress on the target machine. With the right know-how, it is possible to identify the password in the memory feed, extract the related data, and crack it with a decryption program. Note, for educational purposes, the CD distributed with this book contains copies of Memstack and Descrambler Elite. Boot passwords in memory. The encrypted representation of a boot password in a memory feed can be identified by searching for a distinct encryption signature. These signatures differ for each encryption software, but commonly follow this basic structure. And then we've got a 4-digit identifier, version number of software, and by the way, the version number of the software I think might actually be listed. Memory chip serial number, see BIOS, and then there's a format. Okay, there's just a lot here that we'll probably need to refer to later. And then it's got an example. If this 14-digit pattern is identified in its entirety in the active PC memory, the relevant memory section can be saved to a file and decrypted with an appropriate decryption utility. Thanks for reading. Enjoy this complimentary software CD courtesy of the generous open source community. Take care and good luck, or as the kids say these days, leet speech.
This should be useful.
All right.
First things first, I need another computer.
Hey, E.
Eileen's laptop. She's using it to hack into Faith Cyrene's cell phone. The computer book outlined a technique for using a second computer to crack hard drive encryption. This laptop might come in handy for that. I could ask E about it. Can I talk to you for a sec?
Sure. What's up?
Do you know anything about hard drive encryption?
A little, I suppose.
Basically, the whole computer is encrypted and
Oh, that's tough.
looks that way, yeah.
Should be doable then. Anything I can do to help?
Well, it just so happens I need a second computer and I noticed this laptop you've got here.
I suppose I could make do without that for a while, but just bring it back in one piece, will you? It wasn't cheap.
Why? Have I ever?
Yes! 4 times!
Fair enough. All right, there we go. I've got the laptop set up. Time to deal with the next steps in the book.
You guys, this might take a minute. Okay, so we almost certainly put the CD in, but let's look at the book again. So this is sort of describing the general process, the idea that we can eavesdrop on the memory contents by when the decryption process is going on, I think. The encrypted representation of boot password in the memory feed can be identified by searching for distinct encryption signature. So I think we need to probably boot it up with the CD in. Let's see. Can I use software CD on computer?
Not a bad idea, but I should use it on the laptop instead.
Okay.
I don't need to mess with that.
Okay, cool, but this is also the wrong computer. Filter, halts on match, but we haven't started to do anything yet. So we're loading the decryption routines, and I'm just going to make a quick note for myself real quick. I need something to write on, that this is version, it might not come up, but 1012, because I'm pretty sure it said that the version number might come in. Now, I feel like we have to restart it, don't we? Right, we wanted to get into the BIOS for some reason. Let's see what we can remember. Okay, 4-digit software identifier. Okay, so we've definitely got that. So let's go with 1012. I'm just going to make a note there that software ID. And then the version... So the version number of the software is 1012. Okay, hold on. 1012 version number. I wrote it down too quickly. The memory chip serial number, and that's in the BIOS. So memory chip serial number is 421162. And I'm just going to write down RAM SN. Oh, and then this is what it's going to be. So AAA. So I don't know the software identifier just yet, but if we find the other two pieces, now that we know what B and C are, we should be able to find out what A is by doing the search, I think. I'm a little bit confused as to what we're doing on the laptop right now, but... Oh, and then we've got some common ones over here. Oh, with SecVault, because that's what it is. So it's 1A, 2B. So, 1A, 2B. I did a very poor job of writing that down. And that's our software ID. So our full thing is 1A, 2B, 1012, 421162. If its 14-digit pattern is identified in the entirety in the active PC memory, the relevant memory section can be saved to a file and decrypted with an appropriate decryption utility. So I think that's what we put in on Eileen's computer. So let's do a search. Hold on, let me close that. For 1A, 2B, 1012, 421162. And I've pressed enter and absolutely nothing happened. Start capture? Cable disconnected. Hold on. That's why I was like, what are we doing with the laptop? It's not connected at all.
Here's that type of cable that was mentioned in the computer book. Got it. It's pretty short as far as cables go, but it should get the job done. All right, all hooked up.
So let's start capture. DM.
I should have another look in that computer book.
Physical flywire connection to a secondary computer with DMA enabled in the target BIOS settings. Okay, we can go to the BIOS. And we're going to turn on DMA mode.
All right, I should be done with all the setup for the hack now. Coming up next, capturing the password. I should have a look in the next section of the book.
Okay, so we're up through here. And so now we're on to the any common memory utility. So maybe we now go to the memory thing, and I'm trying to remember what we started doing here. Start capture? Okay, that might have done it. So now let's see if we can run that search. I again press enter. Save capture? And then how would we go? Oh, exit. So that was out of memstack. Let's see if we can look at this. No password signature found in memory dump. I don't know, man. Like, I do feel like we absolutely need to, like, restart the computer with this running. That's just what my brain says that you would do to capture a memory. So let's start capture. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to turn it off. And then turn it back on. Now it should get a lot more information. Stop capture. So now we've got that entire boot sequence captured. Now let's try putting in the thing. 1A, 2B, 1012. Okay, so something I feel like might not be right, because we were good pretty much up through there. And then 421162. Yeah, it doesn't have anything like that. If we do go up through here... Interesting, I don't see the one there. Can I click on this section then? No. Let's save capture. Okay, let's check our book again. I feel like there's a step that I'm missing. (1A2B). I'm just making a note of that. Version number of the software, and then the memory chip serial number. Let's go back and check that on the computer. Memory channel A. Yeah, there's only one chip of memory. 421162. So I do have that correct. And Kathy said that we were all done on the setup part. So I don't think there's anything else for me to do here. DMA mode is still enabled, and I just don't think that these things are necessary. Let me search for the other sections of this. Do we have any 4.2? Okay. I'm going to look in the book. I feel like I've made some incorrect assumptions about what we're meant to do. When using IronCrypt version 1234 with serial number, that's the memory serial number, the full signature number, so IronCrypt 031F, and then the 1234 is the version number of the software. And then the serial number is that last part. So maybe I'm just wondering if maybe I wrote down the version number incorrectly or something. Let's go back. 1012. Sec vault.
I'm done with this part. Alright, so I need to assemble the memory signature following the format outlined in these pages. I think I can find all the information I need on Andrea's computer, despite the lack of a password.
If this 14-digit pattern is identified in its entirety in the active PC memory, the relevant memory section can be saved to a file and decrypted. So maybe we have to be running the search as it boots up. Let's try that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to type in a bunch of this stuff information. 1A, 2B, 1012, 421162. So that's the entire filter that we want. Now let's start the capture. Well, hold on. Let's turn it off. Now we're going to start the capture. And we'll turn it on. And then watch it. If it hits this entire sequence at some point, it should pop up. And we can see over here. I like this little picture-in-picture. There we go. So save. That was... Sorry, I waited too long on the save. I don't know what I was waiting on.
Damn. The decryption isn't an automated process. I still have to try different passwords against the encryption hash. After each attempt, the utility will spit out some information about how close I was to the right password, though. We're dealing with a 7-character password, including a mix of numbers, lower and uppercase letters. I should have a look around the room. Maybe I can find some 7-letter words to put me on the right track.
And this is where I'm just cautioning everybody. This is where I will crash and burn. I'm always terrible when this happens in shows or movies. So we like electronics, we like hard drives, we like cables. But mostly we like music. Oh wait, this was 7 letters, wasn't it?
Zodkill, a classic. I could go for a monster movie and some popcorn right about now. Might help me forget about the monsters in the real world.
Okay, Zodkill, strong choice. She also had a preference for certain music.
Damn, impressive setup. Andrea must be a hi-fi aficionado.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I do think that we try Zodkill. Let's try Zodkill. All 7 were wrong. Now, it could be Z0, but no, it wouldn't be. So this is dead wrong. Every one of them is wrong. So now we know what it's not. And I've played enough Fallout to know that knowing what it's not can also lead you to a lot closer to what it is. All of those were wrong, huh? Okay. But the skull wasn't pertinent to any specific thing. This was all about texts and stuff.
Andrea's CD collection. There are a lot of records by Sunbeat, Route 6, and Perplex. Reggae music, based on the covers and song titles.
All 7 letters. Sunbeat. I'm so sorry, I didn't get them all. Sunbeat, Rootkill was one of them?
Andrea's CD collection.
Route 6.
There are a lot of records by Sunbeat, Route 6, and Perplex. Reggae music, based on the covers and song titles.
Alright, Route 6 might have a 6 in it. Let's start with Route 6. Okay, Route 6 was closer. One of them is correct. I hope we don't have limited guesses. Sunbeat is dead wrong. And then Perplex. Oh!
Close. Maybe Andrea just obfuscated it a little bit.
Okay, so Perplex is getting close. So one thing was correct in Route 6, but it was just the wrong letter. It wasn't the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So it could have been the 7th. Let's try a capital X at the end. Okay, that got us closer. See how we're at 403? So we're getting closer. We know now that the last one is an X, and 4 of the rest of them are okay. But it might not be the capital P. I'm going to put like a big square around the capital X. And then 3 are incorrect. So if I was elite speak, then it would be P3. Let's try... Getting there. Okay. And then this could also be a 3. Getting closer. Okay, so we've only got 1 incorrect. And it is 2 uppercase letters. Let's try changing the P to a lowercase p. Okay, that was further away. Whoops. So that's capital, and this is capital. Now we've confirmed that. So there's one other thing that's wrong. I'm going to go with this P, would be my guess. No. All right. Take that out. Capital R. Oops. Okay. The last thing is the L. Wait, how did we... How are these both... One of them is incorrect. It's not a case thing. That makes less sense to me. Wrong case 0, but capital L, lowercase L. Let's not worry about it. So, because there's one additional number, that's what we're looking at. I got caught up on the case. So, one of these is wrong. The trouble is I don't know the rest of this lead speak nonsense. Wait. In the computer manual, it had examples. Take care and good luck. So, perplex, there's no A's to be 4s. K is K. 3 is E. And, 0s. Wait, perplex doesn't have any 0s either. Uh-oh. I thought I had an idea here. Take care and... good luck has 3s and 4s and 0s. Oh! 1. That's what it is. I keep trying to click there to go back. Done.
Yes. Got it.
Boy, thank God they had the examples in there. I just don't think that way, so replacing L with 1 was not going to come up. Now, just in case, P, capital P. 3 R P 1 3 X, big capital X.
Moment of truth. All right, I'm in.
A base of operations in the old mine sounded like a crazy idea, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Those tunnels have been abandoned for decades, but they're sheltered underground, built to last, and well preserved. The bones of the complex should have electrical infrastructure, heating, plumbing, and some kind of living quarters. The main problem is hijacking the electrical grid, but it should be doable. The area's remote and I'll be able to work undisturbed. I just gotta spoof one of those old mechanical meters on the site and make sure power is supplied from the nearest substation. Easy peasy. There are other problems too, but I welcome the challenge. Finally, a proper project, unlike the brain-dead assignments my professors give me.
I don't want to edit anything.
The old mines, huh? A good place to hide. They're enormous. Practically half the state is filled with them. I'll need more specifics to track down a site like that.
It's so satisfying seeing a plan come to fruition. Just think of all the engineering problems I had to solve. Hijacking the power grid, setting up wireless surveillance, figuring out the drug synthesis, even the celestial tracking. Man, what a fucking ride. Where would my life be now if she hadn't found me among all those junkies and lowlifes? When I first met her, it was as if she knew I would be there. It was as if she was looking for me all along. Finally, someone who truly saw me, someone who understood and respected my potential. To think that a year ago, the biggest thing on my mind was finding the right dose of amphetamines. Pyre is incredible, and we're only just on the second batch. Just imagine how powerful it can get with a perfected formula.
Not sure what to make of all this, but it sounds like Andrea was in cahoots with the Pyre dealers, building some kind of secret base for them.
I just came back from the sanctum and I am fucking horrified. Pyre isn't what I thought it was. No, it's a conduit to something terrifying, something indescribable. She can't know, can she? No, Faith wouldn't keep that from me, not after everything we've been through. I have to tell her, and she'll know what to do. I'll set up a meeting at Constance Hill between here and the hideout. I can't go back down in the dark alone again. I can't face what I saw there.
Well, that removes any shred of doubt. Andrea Hall was Jane Doe. Sounds like something about Pyre scared the shit out of her. Did that have something to do with her death?
Is there anything else for us here? I just pressed spacebar and nothing came up, but that's because we're sort of in this interface. Let's take a step back and talk with Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca?
Yeah,
I'm done here. Gonna head out. Thanks for the help.
no problem. Did you learn anything?
I did, but it's not looking good. Andrea was involved with some bad people. I think it's more than likely that she's Jane Doe. I'm sorry.
God damn it. I fucking knew it. I need to process this. You'll talk to the cops, right? I can't deal with them right now.
Of course. Take care of yourself, Rebecca.
You too.
This laptop worked like a charm. Thanks.
Glad to hear it. What'd you find out?
Too much to explain now. I'll fill you in tonight. I still need to go and track down Cooper.
Okie dokie.
All right, so if we're not meant to talk with her, then yeah, we're going to head back to the park, to Bear Creek, I think it is, and go look for Cooper. Though I think that that's probably going to occur in the next episode because, man, this was packed. Look at how much we got done, and it feels really good after being stuck for a while in the last episode. I loved this puzzle. I liked the fact that you had to, well, I mean, a lot of the puzzles in this game, you have to compare information from different sources and sometimes move between screens, but it also doesn't feel like it's being disrespectful of your time, where you have to like go to a lot of different locations, or it punishes you for not remembering everything perfectly because you sort of got the information right there. And yeah, no, this was a big episode. We learned the identity of Jane Doe. We learned not only who she was, but we learned where she came from and what she was doing and what her connection to Pyre was. And I do think this got us a lot closer to Faith Cyrene because based on the notes that we just found, Constance Hill is, I think that's the name of it, is kind of, it's implied halfway, but a direct line from the university to where the mines are. It's sort of between those 2 points. And if you remember, Logan, is it Logan? I'm going to start getting names wrong at this point. There's too many proper names for me to remember. But he had a map of all of the different killings. So I suspect that based on that map, we'd be able to draw a line from the university through Constance Hill and find the abandoned mines on the other side. So that will be something to look forward to next time. We're going to call it here for this part of Kathy Rain 2. just super duper enjoying this one. I had a good time with the first game, but this is great. At least so far. We'll see how it continues. We'll call it there. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.